So here we are, part two, continuing here. Wheat is sugar. So I'm pulling through multiple places, obviously. So far, you've heard me from nutrition, a little bit with the stock market, a little bit with Youngevity. Well, I also was exposed to a New York Times bestseller called Wheat Belly by Dr. Davis. Strong evidence in his research and through others throughout several years, but he's put it together very well here, that wheat spikes your blood sugar. In other words, any type of wheat, any type of grain. And it spikes your blood sugar as bad as any simple sugar. And what it does in the end is it causes insulin resistance over time. That's how people get pre-diabetic and diabetic and obese. It interferes with hormones, actually, like testosterone. So think of that, guys. When you're on a high carbohydrate, high grain diet, you can do damage with your insulin resistance, and that will affect your testosterone. It will also affect women and their hormones. So on top of that, it will also result in malabsorption of all nutrients. I'll get to that a little later here, but everyone's heard of a thing called gluten intolerance by now, or celiac disease. It's a rogue protein, actually. It's not actually the wheat. It's not the grains. It's actually the proteins, the way they're bonded in the grains. And it manifests itself in a certain population, and people got issues, autoimmune issues, not able to absorb minerals and vitamins, for instance, in certain foods. It can become an issue. Some people don't realize it until later in life. Well, I'm starting to read this Dr. Davis's research and everything, and I'm wondering, what about the rest of us? I ran into Youngevity, and then some of their doctors were talking about wanting people to avoid grains too. A light bulb went off. There's an absorption issue going on here from people being on this diet. I also learned multiple other things. Now, this is a wheat type diet, a grain diet, is pushed by the USDA. They have the food pyramid. I don't need to post that. Everyone's seen that. What's at the bottom? It's the grains. It's the foundation of every American diet, or for the world, that is. Now, one time that was a great thing. When Egypt started and they discovered all that, discovered beer and other stuff, getting those calories quickly, cheaply was great. But, it's 2012 now, and I'm noticing stuff, and people are noticing things. People are not as healthy as they seem. So, Dr. Davis's book, Wheat Belly, phenomenal. Wheat is in everything. It's in almost all processed foods, including corn, in high fructose corn syrup, for instance. Dr. Davis, however, he provides a compelling case here that the wheat in the United States literally changed in the 1960s and 70s due to genetics research. They created a semi-dwarf wheat strain. What does that mean? It means they changed what wheat looked like. It was basically genetically modified before anyone kind of used those terms, and it became just a short, stubby type of high-yielding wheat. He's discovered that these proteins, besides potentially causing these malabsorption issues, these wheat proteins, like gluten, affect the brain pleasure center, guys. So it's like a drug in your brain, okay? Opium. So he also found, because of that it will encourage people roughly to eat an extra 400 calories a day. 400 calories a day extra, most people on a high grain diet will be coerced into because it feels good. So we got that information. We got a simple, basic comparison. 2 pieces of whole wheat will spike your blood sugar more than a regular Snickers bar. So most don't know this. They don't understand how that relates to obesity and storing fat, let alone how this diet over time can just wear you down and wear your absorption down. I'll go a little more into that next. So how are these grains stopping you from getting nutrition? Well, unfortunately, I discovered this thing called phytic acid, or fortunately, I guess. I was blown away. Grains, nuts, lots of things you would think before you heard this video were healthy for you. They contain a thing called phytic acid. Phytic acid is a mineral blocker that prevents absorption of calcium, magnesium, iron, copper, and zinc. Calcium, magnesium, iron, copper, and zinc. Those are minerals. Okay? This phytic acid is found in the bran of all grains as well as the outer coating. As you can see here, you can read the slides. Seeds and nuts as well. Now, I've asked around, and some people remember how their grandmother or their great-grandmother used to soak the beans or soak the grains or soak the nuts or whatever in water for, say, 24 hours or something. It was like a customary practice in some cultures. And it's kind of a memory that lingers in some people who are alive today in their mind. Well, I found out that that process actually removes as much as it can of the phytic acid in grains and nuts and seeds and legumes. Okay, so this was something new to me. So here we are in a culture we're overloaded with this wheat and flour and everything, and this phytic acid that's naturally in there blocks the absorption of minerals. It makes me think, well, how come they're not adding a bunch of these minerals to all the grains and stuff? They do add those vitamin B, those, don't they? They enrich cereal, they enrich pasta. So that's one issue, this phytic acid issue. And you'll see at the bottom here, anyone who's in the raw food diet, they get exposed to this because these people are crazy nuts about eating perfectly, whether on a paleo diet or a raw food diet or these juicing diets. You know, all of a sudden everything is bad to them, you know what I mean? So they really know their stuff. They learn about this stuff in chemistry and how stuff works in the body. I typically would have never looked into that until getting on this journey. So that link there will tell you all about phytic acid. Like I mentioned, back to point 2 here, gluten and the other similar grain-based proteins, they work to break down the microvilli in your small intestine, eventually letting the particles of the food leach out into your bloodstream. This is a thing called leaky gut syndrome, causes allergies, digestive disturbances, autoimmune. So a lot of people who might not even be gluten intolerant, well, there might be gluten sensitive. In years and years, such as myself, I've realized I was always bloated after eating pasta. That's a symptom of it. Never got bloated and felt weird after eating a big steak dinner, for instance, and maybe just enough potato or whatever, and some of that other starch. But on the grains, absolutely. Very similar to people who kind of feel that way after eating a lot of ice cream. Again, that's the lactose. It's something that your body's having trouble digesting. And so when it has that trouble, all types of symptoms show up. Absorption issues show up. So we have to ask the question here, is your microvilli being destroyed off being on a high grain diet? You could potentially hurt it on a raw food diet, believe it or not, if you don't take these proper steps. So all of a sudden, anyone pushing some of these diets, not as safe as they thought, are they? All of a sudden, I guess the truth reveals itself. No matter what diet you're on, by definition, there could be some type of restriction or selective eating going on and elimination of eating certain food categories. And then what happens at that point is you end up, over time, being deficient, or you're eating a food that's actually blocking your minerals, such as in this case. So you want to pause this and read all this, go ahead. I got a little more coming up next. So the main goal of harping on all this here is to show you that we got multiple things that we can prove that are showing that you're not getting what you think you're getting on those labels, let alone if those percentages are even correct for your body or in your body type. So we have to get to a point here, accept the fact that most doctors, the FDA, the USDA, any type of bureaucratic agency or outside force, they're not going to protect you. They're not going to tell you some of the things you've learned here today. You have to be proactive to find that, and I suggest you do that if you are concerned. Or take it from me, something here, look at my sources, and then make up your own mind. So my action step, besides getting educated and sharing this knowledge with yourself and other people, is get off the processed foods, seek out natural live foods, vegetables, seeds, nuts, fruits, when available, even if it has the phytic acid, as we just talked about. At least you're getting other types of enzymes. It's not all bad, okay? But if you eliminate as many processed foods, you're going to have to all of a sudden start eliminating a lot of wheat in your diet, and that will bring down that phytic acid level if you're concerned about that. And all of a sudden you'll be able to start repairing that intestinal area and the little cilia that are in there grabbing all the nutrients. So third thing you can do, start adding a high-quality liquid mineral supplement to your diet where it's highly more likely you're actually going to get what's on that label. So that's what I'm basically telling you. Look back at these slides and on this video, come to the conclusion I'm coming to right now. I don't have the confidence that you or I or anyone in the world is actually getting the percentage minerals or vitamins that is displayed on that label. And to me, that chills me to the bone. Billions of people could be walking around, not even close to being as healthy as they would have been centuries ago, let alone today. Now, I know people are living longer today, but we all know the medical industry is failing people. It's beyond just good food. Obviously, I've mentioned you got to eat healthy here. But you also have to realize that it's physically impossible to eat the amount of food required to reach the nutrient levels necessary for ultimate health and longevity. Assuming you're one of those people who doesn't want, like me, that doesn't want to be trapped into the medical industrial complex, trapped on their prescription drug pills, trapped on their diabetes medications. You know, the FDA has approved 2 obesity drugs in 2012. Yes, you've heard it right. They haven't approved an obesity drug in so many years. The truth's getting out. People are getting desperate. They want the truth. The FDA gives them, here's 2 new pills that you can start popping. But they don't want to tell them the stuff I'm telling you here. So it pains me to know that I must use a supplement and spend money on a supplement beyond my food. But like I said, I cannot trust that my body is actually absorbing the percentage of vitamins and minerals that are listed in that food product. Yeah, I bet you're getting the protein and some of those some of the amino acids and stuff, and you're getting that fat or you're getting that carb, unless your system's messed up and has an absorption issue like with fat, and a lot of people do have that, by the way. So, but I have no faith in it, so I can't look at you with a straight face anymore to trust this stuff. I'm sorry to say. So it's very hard to trust a broken healthcare system that puts big companies and profit above nutrition. And that's what chills me. Through different angles in my life and through the stock market, I've seen where the pharmaceutical companies, the big food companies, the big ag companies, they're also public stocks. It's all about the money. They must, by law, put profits first if you're a public company. Of course, you have to treat your customer right. Of course, you can't willfully scam people. But even if you do, guess what? They just pay a fee. Matter of fact, big drug company, here we are in July 2012, just settled for the biggest fraud case in the drug company history and for any drug company, and just paid the fees. Did one person go to jail yet? Is anybody sued? Anybody fired? Nope. So there is no accountability in this system. That's why I'm stressing, and that's why I'm actually putting this together, that you take some knowledge, take some research, put it into your own hands. One of my solutions to that highly liquid, absorbable mineral supplement is a thing called Beyond Tangy Tangerine from this company, Youngevity, that I mentioned obviously in the first video series here. First of all, it's a powder. You mix it very easily with water or any juice, whatever you want to do, your smoothie, whatever your routine is. It's a high percentage of these RDA amounts. Key vitamins such as B complex, C, key minerals like chromium, a whole range of plant-derived minerals. These are trace minerals most people have probably never put in their body in years. Also has 115 fruits and vegetables in here. This powder actually is a liquid, and then they freeze dry it and put it in a form called NutriCrystals, very proprietary to this company, Youngevity. This thing is absorbable. Your body will feel it. Trust me. This thing has, as a personal testimony to me and people around me, I've seen the results, and I see it quick. It's a simple habit to add to your life. I've lost about 30 pounds in 3.5 or more belt sizes in about 4.5, 5 months. My energy and my stamina are up. That's why it's late at night right now, and I am focused as heck talking here with very few stumbles, although I did a little earlier. But my energy is going all night. It's amazing what you get out of this energy and stamina. People talk about cost. Well, I was able to reduce my food bill my coffee bill. I was able to eliminate about 60 bucks, if not more, which helps obviously pay for the supplement. Literally pay for it, and getting all these nutrients and elements. It's like, wow, this is the first vitamin I've ever felt. And for a lot of people that I share it with, it's the first vitamin that they've ever felt. I've also lost joint pain in my knee, for instance, hasn't come back. And some of that as well is related to getting off grains. By the way, being on this, you will lose the cravings for this stuff. You'll lose whatever your vice is, chips, salty chips, chocolate, whatever. Because of all the minerals in there, your body, your biological chemistry is searching for nutrition, like I said before. It will find it in garbage food. It will find it in good food once, because your body doesn't know. It thinks calories is nutrition. But once you give it a source of nutrition, it starts liking it, and it tells you, get me more. So check this thing out, Beyond Tangy Tangerine by Youngevity. That frequently asked question link here, you can actually see what's in the fruits and vegetables. There is no caffeine in this product. There's no ginseng or ginkgo biloba or any other stimulant, green tea extract, for instance. Here's the label. If you one of these people want to know what's in it, 2 little scoops. It's actually little scoops. I'm not talking about big protein powder scoops, small scoops. Check out the percentages. They don't go overboard on the fat-soluble vitamin A, for instance, but a very healthy dose of vitamin C, D3, E. A lot of these are antioxidants as well. Vitamin K, very crucial to be used. Thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, those are all B vitamins. B6, folate, B12, very crucial for energy and stamina. There's actually people who take B12 shots. There's a lot of science on all of this stuff to help people live a better life. And obviously, some of the minerals, calcium, iron, magnesium, zinc, selenium, very crucial. Dr. Wallach, the founder of this company, helped make sure that selenium was put into the awareness of the American population. You have to actually won claims against the FDA. Copper and chromium, very good for energy and metabolism, and potassium, of course. So, and then you get a fruit and vegetable powder, 500 milligrams. Nice dose of those 115 we talked about. You get the plant-derived powder. There you go, 300 milligrams. You see it right there. Okay, those are all the essential trace minerals you get. They're in a negative charge. Your body will use them and absorb them for about 6 to 7 hours. They'll actually help get out any toxic heavy metals in your system. So there are wonderful benefits that synergistically will happen when all this stuff is combined together. Okay, especially if you have you get off the wheat. And of course, for joints, there's glucosamine, MSM, which also helps with allergies and joints, chondroitin. Some of these all have various amounts of evidence that they can help the body. Amino acid complex, and of course, other things like bioflavonoids, very crucial. Little trace elements of some of the grapeseed extract and coenzyme Q10, which is very expensive. So you get a little bit of everything in this thing. The only thing you're missing in this is enough calcium and magnesium. Okay, they sell another product for that, and you don't get the fish oils in here. So technically, you're only missing the fish oils in this thing. Okay, and you need to up the other stuff if you want to do a program, full program. So are you ready to try out this product or join my crusade? Here's my email. You can email me with any questions. Do yourself a favor, just at least try this product if nothing else. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. Many people feel a difference. The first few doses, like I said, there's no caffeine, green tea, any of that in it. We have some other products that do have some green tea, natural caffeine, for instance. So I appreciate your time. I'm going to give you some more information here. This is my website, the mineralogic.youngevity online. Also am affiliated with the InfoWars team. That is my URL to work with me, and you'll also end up working with the InfoWars team if that's something you want to work with. They're basically a broadcast company who's spreading knowledge, waking people up. Healthcare is one of those issues. So what do you need to do? All you got to do is sign up as a preferred customer. You'll buy at the same price that I'm buying at right now, 30% off, so wholesale prices. So one of those Beyond Tangy Tangerines, a canister, you'll get anywhere from $39 to $48. Like I said, I can verify without even trying that I save 60 bucks a month now. So I know you don't want to believe me, but it's true. You've never felt your vitamin. I never did either. That's why I never even thought that someone could tell me something like this, but it actually pays for itself. So if you want to try the product, fantastic. If you set up a monthly auto ship, going forward and decide you want to be a recurring customer, you'll save the shipping cost on that and get free shipping. So again, this is a network marketing company. You're going to support entrepreneurs like myself. There is a business angle, but to be a preferred customer, you're helping salespeople like myself who want to make a little part-time money or whatever. And all you're doing is, I'm making a small referral commission. You're buying at the same price to me. They can do this because this company is not out there brainwashing people on TV every night, and telling them you need Johnson & Johnson's product. You need the GNC vitamin. You need this, and all the advertising, all the stores. There's none of that here. So this is a word of mouth type of business. Again, if you want more information on those plant-derived minerals, you can, again, go to Youngevity.com or check out the information I have here. You'll learn more about what I was kind of saying there about these plant-derived minerals. That's where you get all these trace minerals. Some of these minerals, for instance, like arsenic, are in here in very trace amounts. There's nothing to be alarmed at. They're in the natural crust of the earth. They're in the soil that this comes out of in very minute portions. It's a negative charge. The bioavailability is there, but it's out of your body. In actual, there's evidence to support potential detoxification, which I believe I have felt. So on point 3, you'll see that there. I've also researched that if anyone's worried about this, for instance, there is more arsenic in an apple juice box for kids, parts per million, ppm. I've looked it up on the sites and verified it. There's more of that than in the serving size of a Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Way more, like potentially almost double. So, if it's good enough for your kids, I want to thank you all for listening to me and my information. Again, you can get this PowerPoint, and actually, if you don't want to type out the long links here, I can send you the original PowerPoint that has been made with this video. And you'll see the importance of minerals and vitamin supplements. If you don't already know that, there's loads of research on here. Here is some of the research from the companies affiliated with Youngevity. You can also find out about, more about how our food is deprived, like that map I showed you earlier about the mineral depletion. You can here in this link see some of that evidence where, over a range of 20 years or so, USDA, they kind of knew it. Calcium, magnesium was just crashing. And we know, they add stuff back to food now. They don't tell us that our cell's deficient. They don't tell us the stuff. They just quietly start adding stuff back, just like they added stuff to milk because they know everyone drinks it. So, but are you actually absorbing it? That's the issue. So here's some other links there. Tangy Tangerine, the Dr. Wallach. Great way to learn about Dr. Wallach. It's a compilation of the best of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Again, when he originally got into the business, he had noticed some of the data was showing up that it seemed that doctors were dying before regular people. So it was a catchphrase that proved his point, basically. So that will cover a lot of mineral deficiencies. He also is an author, has a radio show on to this day where he goes through how simple mineral deficiencies can prevent you from getting a lot of diseases. Dr. Glidden also is a Youngevity distributor, but before that he was a naturopathic doctor, just as he currently still is. Great video here where he talks about grains and that stuff I was talking about, how it messes up your absorption, and again relates to the Wheat Belly book by Dr. Davis at wheatbellyblog.com. If you have some spare time and the inclination, check out some of his blogs. You don't even have to buy the book, but the guy makes a great case that that there's no way the food industry didn't know that wheat is like a drug, that grains are like a drug, that it actually causes you to eat more, because it just doesn't make any sense of what's going on. They must have noticed that people started eating way more food, and if you plot the data on a map, on the chronology, for instance, you'll actually see that the obesity rates and the diabetes, it all started going parabolic, basically. in the same years after the wheat was manipulated and after it was being pushed onto the American people in their diet. So, why is wheat in everything? You'll find out some of his theory. And again, he has nothing to do with Youngevity in this business, in this practice. So it's another angle. Again, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. This slide right here, I'm just going to show you, this is the full program on the right, the Beyond Tangerine, the Osteo FX, which is your booster of magnesium, calcium, strontium, anything that, chondroitin, anything that helps with the joints in the proper formulation. It's in a liquid formulation again, so it's more bioavailable. And of course, the EFAs, the essential fatty acids. That is the complete program that Youngevity is trying to expose to people. Don't have to sell people on this. When people go on this, they feel a difference. And really, that's what it's about. So I appreciate your time. And if you like what you saw and you didn't get sick of my voice and you listened to this whole thing, well, then I appreciate it very much. Take care.